Alright, what's good, everybody? It's Amon-Rellik the God Slayer. Amon-Rellik Gaming. We're back and more. You know what it is. Final Fantasy 14. We here, folk. Alright. We are about to talk to Alpha Nu. Archon Low was about to join the others at the High Crucible. The attendant was kind enough to give me directions to the High Crucible. Here we're supposed to follow the path left and past the mulberries. It's nighttime in the city. It's nighttime in the city. And the street turns, enter the door straight ahead, then descend the steps. I thought the Crystarium was confusing, but it doesn't compare to Razakhan. The architecture and decorations make it even harder to get your bearings. Let's see where this door takes us. Very beautiful architecture. Very beautiful architecture in this place. Really reminds me of there's a place in Guild Wars 2 that you go to in like a desert region similar to this. It's got this same type of Middle Eastern desert feel to it. Like it's really, really beautiful. Really, really beautiful. With some hints of I guess you could say some hints of African architecture as well in here. Really like it. And here's the Aetheryte Parcel. So far, so good. There isn't much further to go. And here we just need to cross the other side of the hall, then pass through the larger of two doorways. I suspect the others have already collected the warding scales. Come, let us join them. The High Crucible of Alchemia. Oh. We're here. We're at last, of course. But at least we found the place.
These are the talismans we were promised.
Yes, and I made a quick count. There are far more than we could have hoped for. Enough to outfit an entire company of soldiers, in fact. Considering the involved process, That they were able to manufacture so many in such a short span of time is nothing short of a miracle.
Once we have distributed them to our allies in Eorzea and the Far East, we'll have a fighting chance to bring down the other spires, just as we did with the Tower of Zot.
Or we could use them to invade Garlemald proper, and strike directly at the Telophoroid's base of operations. Of course, we would need to consult with various Alliance leaders before such a drastic measure could even be contemplated. To which end, I could set out forthwith and present the idea to each of our allies in person.
Pray allow me to undertake some few of those journeys. I find myself restless and in need of purposeful duties.
I can head eastward. Bosnia and Dalmasca are just a short hop from here. And Doma's shinobi network should come in handy for passing on the word.
We shall share the burden then. Meanwhile, I think it best that you and the others take the talismans back to the Baldessian Annex. We must keep them safe and secure until we've decided upon a course of action.
Please, I must speak with you.
Oh, she's up. Okay.
Nidana, you're awake.
Yes. When I spoke with the carer at my bedside, she told me that one of the scions, a young woman, had cleansed me of the tower's corruption. It seems I'd been asleep ever since the treatment. But when I awoke and learned you were all still here, I knew I had to come.
As you said, Nidana was captured only recently. Such a brief exposure is swiftly cured, so I tended to her before we gathered at Megaduta.
And I am truly grateful that you did. I cannot thank you enough. All of you, for everything you've done. Destroying the tower, rescuing our people. You've saved Thavnair from an awful fate.
Yet who hath truly saved whom? Due in no small part to thine inspirational courage, the alchemists were successful in reproducing warding scales of proven efficacy. Replications of thy work now stand ready to travel across the seas, unto the hands of those who might wield them against this rising evil.
The talisman? Is this true? Oh, I was so groggy from sleep. I didn't even think to ask. Oh, our great work sent across the seas. It was worth it. Oh, it was all worth it.
Look at that! Its color is completely changed.
What do you have there? How unusual. I wonder if the effect is a reaction to Akasha.
I'm afraid I'm not familiar with that term.
Akasha? It is one of the unseen energies defined by Harnish alchemical theory. Though a gross oversimplification, some describe it as an essence influenced by feelings.
You imply that it is distinct from ether?
Foreign scholars often conflate the two, but we see them as separate concepts. Ether is an energy which permeates the land. It exists within animals, objects, even the air we breathe, affecting all through which it flows. Akasha, on the other hand, exists in a domain beyond our reach. A gift bestowed from on high, or torn from the heavens in some traditions. Akasha can neither be created nor destroyed. It is beyond our power to purposefully alter or manipulate. The only thing observed to influence it is an abundance of, I want to say, spiritual emotion. As a veteran of the battlefield, surely you've experienced moments of desperation or exaltation when you've transcended the usual limits of your capabilities. That is a manifestation of Akasha, the invisible essence harnessed by heart, mind, and unyielding spirit.
I really must hear more about this theory. Our disciplines are based entirely upon the idea that ether is the fundamental form of all energy.
I'm glad my haphazard explanation has piqued your interest. But even for us, Akasha is a somewhat abstract field of study. A lack of practical application lends itself poorly to formalized research. Which is why my analysis of your flower can amount to little more than idle speculation. I am sorry.
Nonsense! You have nothing to be sorry for. Your insight is much appreciated.
Shall we depart for Sharlayan then? I will see to it that the talismans arrive at the Annex.
And we will be in touch once our talks are concluded. I suggest you rest while you can. From here onward, sleep is bound to be in short supply.
All right, Nidhana, let's talk to her one more time. See what Nidhana got to say. The last thing I remember before being absorbed at the tower was you rushing towards me. I can only imagine the hardships you and yours must have had to overcome to rescue us. No amount of words will suffice to express my gratitude, but I hope the flower's radiant glow says what I cannot. All right, we're heading back to Sharlayan. Boy, that fire acoustic guitar. We'll be back with the fruit of our labors safely in storage. For now, we are but to wait for the others to return from their respective meetings. As the anchor suggested, you should get some rest in the meantime. Apprised me of your recent accomplishments with an amazing feat to eliminate a tower and pave the way to deal with the rest. While it isn't much, I've changed your sheets and plumped up your pillow. After all, there's nothing like collapsing on a nice clean bed after completing a major milestone. Penning a thesis or defeating dayform entities. Through lodgings now? Alright.
Take heart and protect them well.
Good, you're here. You haven't eaten yet, have you? We've bought quite a spread if you're interested. Only the finest dining from the last stand.
What the hell?
Lest you wonder, we invited Estinian as well. But he refused with a rather grim-faced, "No, thank you." I suspect Charlian cuisine is not to his liking.
Oh, I don't know about that. Perhaps our lone wolf just needed some time apart.
What? To perfect his brooding stare? Next time, I'll drag him out by the ear, sit him down in front of a Charlian feast, and see that he eats every last bite.
An excellent idea. Of all people, warriors must take proper meals and rest if they are to maintain a healthy constitution.
Poor Estinian, beset on all sides.
Raha tended to that burger though, boy.
Speaking of one's physical condition, Mistress Quile, I hear you recently played literal host to Heidelin herself.
And what an experience that was. Tiring, yes, but no lasting harm done. If anything, I should have liked to speak with her longer. I've not felt a hint of her presence since.
Heidelin instructed you to carry that flower, yes? 'Twill be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. And then something about seeking joy in darkness, was it? Come to think of it, isn't that what happened with Nidana back in Radzat-Han?
The flower did seem to radiate a joyful glow, as if reflecting the elation we all felt, the relief of a people with renewed hope.
Indeed, and in turn I felt buoyed by that radiance. 'Twas akin to spotting a beacon and knowing we were on the right path. I know we've not yet triumphed over the Telophoroi, or learned the full breadth of the Forum's plans. But even within the midst of our struggles, we find small moments of joy to sustain us. Rare and hard-won, perhaps, but it is this pursuit of happiness that gives us the strength to carry on day after day. Hey, that's mine.
To the swift the spoils. Though I recall that levitation spell of yours was quick enough.
Only barely. And even at my best, I'm still too slow to wield it effectively in battle. Mayhap I simply require more practice with this new magic.
You unearthed it from the depths of Numenon, I presume?
Aye, and from a veritable mountain of arcane tomes at that. 'Twas necessary to facilitate my solitary explorations.
Or, to put it simply, you used it to sneak around the Forbidden Archives.
Yes, well, after a fashion. They're tall, you see. The shelves, they're too tall for me. And I could hardly move the library's platforms without attracting attention now, could I?
Oh.
Oh, I had to float. Damn, they ate all that food? Shit. Even with 6 of y'all, yo, that's gotta be, or 5 of y'all, that's gotta be, yo, y'all gotta be like bursting at the seams. My warrior of light should be like sitting back, gut, about to bust out his armor. Are we pushing into dawn?
I'm not that ambitious. But 'tis pleasant to idle away the hours every once in a while.
Ah! Did she keep eating his food? Oh shit, what? Xenos Galvus!
Ah! Enjoying the bracing cold, I see. Do you not own a warm coat or a cloak? Something in fur? Or fashioned from the skins of your enemies? Or... well, never mind that. I come to you once more as the bearer of bad news. Our tower in Thavnir has been toppled, and I need not tell you by whom. Given how many we have at our disposal, the loss of a single spire is hardly fatal to our plans. It does, however, slow the rate at which we siphon ether. If they continue to preoccupy themselves with the towers, then all will be well. But should our foe prove bold enough to strike at us here, then the timing becomes questionable.
Our foe is bold enough. Of that, I can assure you.
Yes, very well then. I suppose I must prepare a proper welcome. Honestly, talk of your nemesis is the only thing you seem to enjoy. Does nothing else spark your interest?
No. All else is equal. Equally tedious. Equally disappointing. The world is a tepid bog into which we sink, too weak to thrash as the mud clings to our eyes and fills our throats till we blissfully choke. But then came the light, blinding and pure and hot, so very hot, enough to set my soul aflame. I basked in the afterglow until the void yawned once more, and then I knew the muck would never claim me again. There was naught for me ahead, so I drew the curtain on all that had come before. Burn, burn, let the whole star burn. I will have my contest. I will reclaim my moment.
How wonderful that the emptiness of death has not dissuaded you from committing your life to its pursuit once more. I don't know whether to envy you or pity you.
You question my disinterest, but what of yours? Despite your noisome antics, I sense you take little pleasure in this endeavor.
Mercy, my lord. Such pointed barbs from one who barely acknowledges my existence. Nevertheless, you are mistaken. For I do find this part somewhat enjoyable.
Where are they?
You see, when I was mortal, I would always have the same dream. It was a fragmented thing, disjointed, all the faces incomplete. The setting, too, was unknown to me, so I thought it simply a fantasy of my sleeping mind. Until one day, I realized it was showing me the truth. Much as your dream of the final days enlightened you. And soon, very soon, the rest of the world will see the truth of my dream, too. Yes, I think that is something we can both enjoy.
Okay. Hold on, where do I go? Oh. They're behind me. Oh, crowd. Till you bars in. Oh, there you are. Feeling refreshed, I hope. I was about to make my way to the studio as it happens. I wanted to try and speak with Scarlock Monteshane and thank him for coming to our rescue in the rostra. As it turns out, he'd come here to see us following the hearing, only to find that we'd already departed for Thavnair. Knowing him, he was probably hoping to chew the cud of his former students. since we still waiting for Istol and the others, I thought now the perfect time to pay him a visit. And it's settled. The twins will be coming too, assuming Alphino can tear himself away from his new toys. I'll let you rally the troops while I go on ahead to the phenomenon. My recent impropriety. Perhaps I should avoid showing my face around the studio for a time. That might be for the best. If the others should return, tell them we will not be long. Graha, the Burger Man. Boy, look at Alphino! Boy, look at Alphino! Look at him. Look at him, looking like a wannabe Gundam character. Look at him. Heading out for a stroll. The Skylark himself was here? In that case, what are we waiting for? I too am eager to see him, though I somewhat dread the thought of visiting the studio. I dare say our notoriety precedes us. Alphino of all people worrying about his reputation. And at our alma mater, no less. Well, wonders never cease. You'll understand soon enough. Off we go. Here it is, phenomenon. While I expect you made note of it before, one could hardly miss it. This is the first time you've been here on official business, correct? While most of the space is taken up by the expansive auditoriums, it also houses numerous laboratories, testing grounds for experimental magics, and a host of administrative offices and so forth. As the center of what would later become the studio, it was established to promote the study of etherical phenomena, hence the name. Though with aether being a fundamental aspect of nature, its scope expanded to include every conceivable facet of life, and even the universe itself. And then, in the 432nd year of the Sixth Astral Era, phenomenon was decreed complete, and the studium officially opened as a place of learning. With a long and storied history, it is without question the world's leading authority in ethereology, the arcane, the occult, astromancy, and countless other fields, sounding proud as Charlene's foremost educational institute. You always did enjoy giving the grand tour to new students. Indeed, I've long since lost track of how many times he has recited that same foppish speech, such as his underlying love for his old stomping ground. He was in top form back then, youngest to enter the studium, graduated with highest honors in magical arts and ethereology, undisputed champion of the debating chamber. Hold on, you both joined the studio at the same age, yes? And from where I stand, you're equally prodigious scholars. Nice of you to say, but Alphino actually entered half a year before me. Nor did I do well enough to graduate with honors. I am certainly not the studio's most notorious master debater. In all respects, have I ever been in his shadow. If nothing else, just remember that this was where the legend of Alphino Louis began. We should expect everyone to be fully aware of our recent escapades. Hopefully, we'll be somewhat more welcome here than we were at the last stand. I know better than anyone the adoration the student body has for Alphino, and with a bit of luck, it might work to our advantage. There's no time like the present. Oh, Alphino, the big pimp around here. He the big boss. He the big boss boy around here. He the top dog around here. Okay, Alphino, you got them stripes around here, huh, boy? You the OG around here. Okay. First things first, let's look for Scholar Montaigne. Other faculty tend to frequent their offices. But unfortunately for us, he's fond of wandering wherever his whim takes him. Let's split up and ask the students if they've seen him. Okay, let's go in here and see what them stomping grounds be like. Whoa. Yo, like, Charlian is ridiculous, dude. Like, Charlian is fucking ridiculous. Look at this. This is like one bit. Why is it that every time you go into one of these buildings in Charlian, it looks like 5 times bigger on the inside than what it did on the outside? Like, the buildings, you would not think it's this big until you walk in here. Like, yo, it's ridiculous. Why is it so damn huge? Look at this. Look at this. Okay, let me not get out of hand here. That was Alphino Leveler, wasn't it? The Alphino Leveler. And he with his sister and Master Beldon's granddaughter. Beldon's granddaughter. This is only me one thing. An event of epoch-shattering proportions is fast approaching. Spread the word. Oh, you said you were looking for the scholar art, yes? Knowing him, he could be anywhere, but Miss Elipo should have a better idea. He spoke to me. He actually spoke to me. What the hell? Look at him. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Are you lost? Wandering off the street, perhaps? Wait, don't tell me. You're a trainee gleaner, fresh off the girl ship. I'm right, aren't I? Oh, how silly of me. An orientation is order. Allow me to bid you a warm welcome to Search's Meet. let me start with the question. What is the most important thing you'll find in the studium? That's right, books. And what's the second most important? Why, that's simple. Everything else. That's what we deal in here in Searcher's Meet. Whenever the students or tutors find themselves in need of equipment or materials, they come to us. If we don't have it in our stores, we send the gleaners off to find it. Else, you wouldn't believe some of the requests we get. Honestly, you wouldn't believe. Eyes of pious of this, tongue of giganto that. It's enough to make your hair stand on end, which is possibly at what some of our students are trying to accomplish. This being a school of magic and all. As our newest gleaner, you'll have your work cut out for you, but I think you'll find it quite rewarding. The only thing I'm interested in gleaning is information on the Skullhawk's whereabouts. I beg your pudding? You're not a gleaner? This was all an elaborate ruse. No, wait, come to think of it, you never actually claimed to be one in the first place. My mistake. He was here, but now he's not. I did speak with him shortly before you arrived, though. He said he was on his way to make this meet. Go back the way you came in and you'll see it on the opposite side of the entrance. It's a laboratory of sorts, home to many rare and expensive curios. Not to mention alarmingly frequent accidents. If you lose your way, just follow the blood-curdling screams. In the meantime, it's taken me to tell you all, and the time it took me to tell you all of this, the Skullhawk has probably already left. Best of luck finding him. I have a feeling you'll need it. Hell no. I was here shortly a while ago. He offered me advice on my current research project, though we spoke at length. I don't recall him mentioning where he was planning to go to next. When we parted ways, he went down the corridor, perhaps to one of the auditoriums. Ah, there you are.
Ah, I remember you.
I pray we have not caught you at an inopportune moment. We wanted to offer our thanks for your kind words in the forum.
Well, I could hardly let that inquisition go unchallenged. I've always believed that curiosity should be nurtured, not stifled. Thankfully, a majority of my colleagues agreed. A slender majority, aye, but a majority nonetheless.
Had the vote not gone our way, we would be having a very different conversation, if any at all. Though I'd like to think you would have not given up on our cause. I'm told you paid a visit to the annex afterwards.
Yes, that's right. I was hoping to speak with the grandchildren of my dearly departed friends Galuf and Louisoix in a less dour setting. But it seems I just missed you. I still can't believe how much you've grown. If only your grandsires could have seen the way you presented yourselves to the Forum. Why, it fair brought a tear to my own eye. You must have the patience of a saint, putting up with this lot and their antics. Never mind Matoya's prize student. Luckily, I know a thing or two about managing unruly younglings. If you ever need advice, don't hesitate to ask.
Ha! OG Granddaddy!
If I may, there is a rather more pressing matter we wish to discuss. What can you tell us of this duty that the Forum must fulfill?
Nothing, I'm afraid. Like all humble servants of the Forum, I am sworn to secrecy. Or rather, I couldn't tell you if I tried. Our duty is of the gravest importance. Furthermore, if the particulars were made public, it would incite widespread panic. As such, those entrusted with this duty have been bound by an enchantment, which prevents us from speaking of such matters without the express permission of the Forum.
Oh, wow.
How is that even possible?
It's been some time since I last gave a lecture. Please, take a seat. We shall begin by reviewing the fundamentals of etherology. The ether, which imbues us with life, can be categorized into three forms. Two are of the incorporeal sort, the soul and the memory. Can anyone tell me the third? Not entirely inaccurate, but nor is it the answer I was looking for. That would be corporeal ether. This is the form with which the layman is most familiar. Consumed by even the simplest of daily activities, and replenished by the food and drink that sustain us, this form of ether is in constant flux. In contrast, the ether that comprises the soul is rarely subject to dramatic change. The same can be said for memory, as the two are intrinsically linked. Picture the soul as paper, and memories as words written upon it. Now, what would happen if that paper was doused with ink? The same type of ether as comprises the memories.
It would blot out everything that was written.
Precisely. We would be unable to recall the memories, and any activities that depend upon them would be hindered as well. In fact, this exact phenomenon was observed on a vast scale not so long ago. And what might that have been?
The seventh Umbral Calamity. The people of Eorzea vividly recall Bahamut breaking free of the Lesser Moon and raining hellfire down upon the realm. But no one could seem to remember the events that followed immediately afterwards.
Indeed. To this day, we have yet to determine whether it was an unintended consequence or a deliberate act. The enchantment which binds me and the rest of the Forum is based on a similar principle. And yes, it is a contravention of the Sharlayan prohibition against the practice of memory manipulation. Only when a new member is inducted and told of our great duty are they subjected to the process. A necessary evil. You have my word that it would never be used to manipulate the populace.
I should hope not. But can this enchantment be dispelled and your memories restored?
If 9/10 of our members give their approval, then the process may be reversed. Then, and only then, would we be able to speak freely to others of our sacred duty. Barring that, we must wait until we return to the ethereal sea. For there we will be purified, the blots upon our souls washed clean. And our memories drift apart and dissolve, rather defeating the purpose, I suppose. But there are those memories that are indelibly etched upon our souls, some believe.
What happens after that?
We are reduced to pure ether, coalesce with that of others, and create souls anew. Alternative schools of thought assert souls remain whole and return to the corporeal world, reborn into another form. Both theories have their proponents. Personally, I consider each equally probable. Well, I think that's enough education for today, now that I've given you some food for thought. Or rather, an entire banquet.
Yo, that's crazy. So, yeah, that's memory. Oh, wow. I had myself muted that whole time. I thought I was talking, but I had myself muted the whole time listening. But, yo...
I would remind you that although I'm unable to assist you with certain matters, the resources at my disposal may still be of use to you. I'll arrange for you all to be given the run of Phenomenon. Of course, as associate to our alumni and the students of Baldessian, this privilege is extended to you as well, my friend.
So they learned how to selectively wipe memories.
Key Aliapo. She's well known among the artisans of Sharlayan, and her network of contacts may prove useful in your search for knowledge. I wish you all the best in your pursuits, wheresoever they may take you.
So they used selective memory wiping to basically keep the forum from being able to tell anybody about what's happening in the clique. Wow. And then the fact that they could actually use that on an entire populace is like, wow, okay. And that has a lot to say. That says a lot too, because you know what we learned in Shadowbringers is that we are possibly we're one of the split pieces of an Ascian. So like our whole self was an Ascian, was one of the Ascians. And so it's like we could have been our whole self could have been one of the Conclave members. So it's like to look at what happened after Bahamut basically scorched the world, and then after he was defeated, people somehow forgot what happened immediately afterwards. You know, nobody knows what happened immediately because like everybody's memories was wiped after seeing that. So it's like, yo, the Charlian people, the forum is dealing with some OP fucking skill. They got some OP skill, and the knowledge that they possess over that stuff is like, that's crazy. That's crazy. That was actually good. You wouldn't think that sitting down and listening to somebody lecture you on etherical knowledge in this game would probably be interesting. You would think you would want to skip through it. I can see if you would, because of, you know, if you play this multiple times. But this was a very, very interesting. Very, very good. Alright guys, I'm going to end it here, and then the next one, we're going to continue on with the story. Amon-Rellik the God Slayer, Amon-Rellik Gaming. We out.